Hey, it's Scott once again. And so the last time I came to you, I interviewed one of my student athletes, Phoebe, and we talked a little bit about, providing our kids the best experience possible, something you hear me talk about often, and the idea of, what do they want? We need to really consider, as we're planning our practices, planning out, our programs, figuring out exactly what we are going to try to do to create our seasons and have them go the way we want. We also need to consider, what do the kids want out of this? And I think that that's something that sometimes we overlook, because we're, especially those of us who coach at an older age, the high school age on up, maybe even middle school age, I think. We just sometimes get so caught up in the winning and losing and trying to beat other teams and do all that we can to have that kind of success, that we forget that one of our major determinants of success is, are we creating a program and an experience that kids want to be a part of? And I think that that needs to drive us in so many ways. I always had as my goal when I coached my son as a little kid and then on up through the years, I always had as my goal when I was coaching his teams that, number one, I wanted them to have such a great experience that they wanted to play again the next year. And that was really that was number one, 1A, 1B. It was kind of the most important thing to me. Now, did I want him to learn skills? Absolutely. Did I want him to start to understand the game better? Absolutely. But I wanted to foster in them such a love for what they just went through, or what they were going through, I guess, at the time, as they were going through it, that they're like, I want to keep doing this. And so my goal was that every kid would want to come back and play the next year. But it was interesting how I realized as I was creating that, trying to create that situation for my son in third grade, fourth grade, sixth, or whatever grades it was, I was also realizing that's what I wanted in my varsity teams. I wanted those boys to want to come back the next year. I wanted to create a program that, attracted people and made people say, I want to be a part of that. Well, the way you do that best is to create such an exciting and dynamic and enjoyable experience for those who are in it at that moment, that they're all saying, yeah, I want to do this again next year. And then they're saying, hey, come join us. And so that's kind of where I was trying to go with this yesterday's video. But here's the other thing I was thinking about. We should also extend that to other people, that concept of, what do they want to get out of this experience? So head coaches, talk to your assistant coaches and find out, what do they want from this experience, and how can you help provide that for them? Assistant coaches, talk to each other about it, and then talk to your head coach about it. What are you hoping to get out of this experience, and what can I do to help with that? And then the one, of course, before I get to that one, administration, talk to the administrators. What are they hoping to have happen out of this experience? That's one that a lot of us kind of overlook, don't really think about, but let's face it, the administration are the ones who ultimately will end up deciding most of the time whether or not you're going to keep doing this. It might be, yes, if you're in a school board makes a final decision, but it's your administration that's really going to make so much of the determination on those things. And then ultimately, we need to talk to the kids' parents about this. And this is one of those areas that's really tough for a lot of coaches, communicating with parents. I've had my share of consternation, if you will, difficulties at times reaching out to parents and wanting to connect with them, especially when I was going through difficult seasons where I felt like, they were all out to get me, so to speak. We get that paranoia in coaching. But that's on me. I need to do a better job of reaching out to them and saying, what do you want from this experience? What are you hoping that you will get? But more importantly, what are you hoping you'll see your son or daughter get out of this experience? And so as I was thinking about that concept, this past week I had an idea that if I ever become a varsity coach again, and actually I can start doing this with my 7th and 8th grade teams, but if I ever start to become a head coach, if I ever become a head coach again, I think I'm going to do something, try to set up a once, probably not every week, just wouldn't be, feasible time-wise, but try to go once every 2 weeks, maybe once every 3 weeks at the most, where we have a get-together night with the parents and the kids, and it's after a practice or whatever. Or maybe we even meet somewhere for pizza, or we order pizzas in or whatever, and just let's talk and let's just do more of that kind of fellowship and bonding, because I think that would go a long way for all of us in helping to create a situation where we have a little more job security. Let's face it, that's part of what many of us go through at that level. We're worried, are we going to be, people going to be going after us and, going to administration and school boards and all. Well, the more we can communicate with them, be open with them, be open to them, the better chance we have of creating dialogue and conversation so that they aren't going over us to try and get to somebody else saying, we need to get rid of so-and-so. And so this would go a long way, building a relationship with the parents as opposed to putting up some walls. And again, I'll admit, I've been as bad, I don't know if as anyone else, but I've certainly had my times where I could have been a whole lot better at this. And again, and that's not the only reason just to keep your job, but also it's a good thing to do. It builds camaraderie, it builds, relationships, and it can help strengthen your program because you'll have that many more parents, excited about what their kids are going through because they're getting to be a part of it in some way and see it firsthand, not just from the stands and not just on those, maybe the nights if you do team dinners or things like that. Those are always great types of nights and bonding and things. But here's one where we as coaches are going out and saying, reach out to them and say, come on in, let's talk. Let's get to know one another. Let's talk about why we do what we do, and let's hear what you would like to see as well. What could it hurt? What could it hurt if they offer, hey, coach, how come you guys run this kind of an offense, or how come you do this? Have you ever thought about this? They're going to do it up in the stands anyway. They're going to do it talking to each other anyway. Why not get some of that stuff out? And you know what? They may have an idea that you might go, hadn't thought of that. Yes, generally they don't. It's just generally about their own kids. And a lot of them wouldn't even go there. But one way to help strengthen the relationship is to show them you're interested in strengthening the relationship. So anyway, I thought that last time with Phoebe was a good little kickoff to talking about, there's more than just talking to our kids, and I think it's important that we do. We talk to our kids and, hear what they have to say, and I think you need to do that and try and do that a little bit more often. But it got me thinking it's more than just them. There are a variety of people who I think it would be good to extend that invitation to, or that communication to, saying, hey, let me know some ideas that you have that you think could help make this a better experience for everybody involved. So something for you to consider. Hope you like that idea. Scroll down and leave a comment. Let me know, do you do that kind of thing already? Have you ever done that before? And what do you think? If you haven't, what do you think? Do you think it would work? Do you think you could do it? It's one of the things I'm looking in the mirror going, would I be okay at that? Yeah, I think I would. And I think I'd like to do that. So anyway, let me know what you think down below, and we'll talk to you again next time.